Hello YouTube. Today I want to just talk to you about my expenses when I was living in London. I moved from London 5 years ago. Um, I was living there for quite a number of years. So first of all, I had my rent. I was renting a one-bedroom apartment in a block. It was a nice modern block, and that was £1,100 for just one bedroom apartment. I had my bills on top of that. So council tax was 150 pounds a month. And then I had my bills on top, my gas and electricity on top of that, which came to about £60 each month. Um, I was lucky. I was just on the third floor, so I had all that heat from the second floor radiating up to my flat. So I didn't have to put my heating on at all, even during bitter winter. Um, and then all other costs on top of that associated with getting around London, going to work, eating out, all these things. And so I was paying at least £1,900 on expenses, on bills. I had my partner at the time. We shared everything, but there was no prospect of moving on. There was no prospect of saving to buy a house, because paying £1,100 each month and then bills on top doesn't leave much room, to be able to buy a house. And I just felt, we're not going to get much for our money. The house prices were just climbing. Two-bedroom house, maybe £450 in quite a nice area. And there's not much prospect. You'll be working, I'd be working, all the time just to be able to pay the mortgage, or working all the time to be able to save up the deposit for the house, which would 10% or whatever, 400, which is quite a lot of money. So then I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put myself through that. I'm already getting on in years. I don't want to be paying a mortgage off in my 70s, because that's how long it would have taken to save some money. So I thought, no, we'll just have to move, out of London. And we thought about going to Bournemouth. Bournemouth is very pricey too. Then we thought about Scotland. Scotland is a bit too far from my mum, who lives in London. Then we thought my happy medium is Wales. So we came to Wales about 5 years ago, and I haven't looked back. Wales is nice. It's cheap. As soon as I came to Wales, we rented a one-bedroom cottage for £600. I mean, plus, and then we got bills on top. But that's almost halved our bills. And then, I was able to start saving. We were able to start saving for a deposit for the house. And so as soon as we came to London, I came to Wales, we started saving, and then we were able to buy this property. Unfortunately, he's passed away since, so I live alone now. So I just manage everything by myself. But this was not open to me, in London. It was just too expensive. And I thought, I'd be working. There would be no life balance, work-life balance. It would be just work, trying to pay this mortgage. So coming out to Wales has been the best move. There are so many advantages in Wales. There are lots of jobs. There are jobs in Wales. So, I think many people are worried there won't be jobs, but there are jobs out here. If many people work from home nowadays, and we're very flexible in where we work. And also the schools are pretty, I've heard the schools are pretty good. My grandson goes to a very good school. And the housing in that area where he goes is pretty, it's a good size. The housing is a good size. You can get a good size house, a family house with a large garden for about maybe 250, 300,000 pounds, in a good location here in Wales. So, you know, just because you can't buy a house in London, there's always Wales to come to, and the prospects are good. Um, I just didn't want to stay in London, having to work, poor, you know, life work balance, very poor. As soon as I came here, I felt free, you know, I felt, you know, my life is much better. There, I can move on, you know, I can actually move on, and I have moved on. But now, you know, my goal is just to pay this mortgage off, so I can at least look forward, you know, to my to life after 60, you know, next season of life. I can look forward to that. And Wales has so many beauty spots. There's a beauty spot everywhere, you know, 5 minutes. I just have to walk 10 minutes down the road and there's a beauty spot. And I never tire of going there. It's so beautiful. And I didn't have time to go to beauty spots in London. They weren't, you know, close by. There aren't many beauty spots in London. There's a lot more out here. People are friendly as well. I know my neighbours. I didn't know them in London. They were just, you know, in, out. We would hear the doors banging, but nobody there. So I know my neighbours. I speak to them regularly, and it's been okay. It's been good. So it's been the best move for me. And by the time I'm 60, I would just be mortgage free, and I wouldn't have that luxury in London. I think I'll still be working 5 days a week in London, and just overtime as well. But I don't need to do that here. I have time. I have time to actually, you know, to relax and not to be so stressed, you know, worrying about the mortgage and worrying about, you know, paying the rent, and not worrying about, you know, and worrying about poor prospects. So I'm glad I came out here, and so, as you know, my goal is just to pay off my mortgage by the time I'm 60 years old, so another 8 years, and I know I will achieve that, because even over these past 2 months, you know, that's been my target. That's just been on my mind all the time, and I'm just thinking about ways in which I can pay more into it, you know, because once you have the momentum going, you just constantly focused on that. So that's my focus at the moment. um, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm glad I came to London, and I'm glad I came to Wales when I did. If I'd left it, it would have been not bad, but I'm glad I came. I'm really glad I came. And you know, if you're struggling like I was, I wasn't struggling, but if you feel there's no hope for you to buy a home in London, then just look around. You know, you could always visit London. Well, London is nice to visit, but then parking is expensive, transport, paying for transport, the buses, the trains, the bus network is very, very good. It's just wonderful. It's, you know, being in a city, the buses are on time, reliable. That's the only down thing about Wales, is if you can drive, then Wales is good for you. Just learn to drive, and you can go anywhere. But the buses, they are reliable, but it's just not as frequent as in large cities, you know, like London or Birmingham or Manchester. But that hasn't put me off. I drive anyway, so if I wasn't driving, I'd definitely learn to drive. So that's so I just wanted to make a video just to say, don't lose hope. You know, there's so much opportunity outside of London. London is expensive. And when I was moving out of that flat, the apartment, um, the tenants who were going to take over, their rent had been bumped up to £1,200. The landlord said, the service charges just increased on the building, so they had to be reflected in the rent just to maintain his profitability. So that's what happened. £1,200. So that was 5 years ago. It could be £1,300 easily now. £1,300. So I'm glad I left when I did. I don't think I'd be able to afford £1,300. I'd probably have to rent a little room or something, and that's not ideal. That's really not ideal. So I'm really happy out here, and I look forward to the day I pay my mortgage off in 8 years, and I look forward to the journey, learning as well. I'm learning so much about investing, about compound interest, and the benefits of compound interest. I'm just learning all the time, so it really is a journey. It's not just the end goal, it's actually the learning in between. And the end goal is not for retirement. The end goal is just so I can reduce my hours, maybe 2 days a week, because I still quite enjoy my job. But even if I don't, I can just do something else, and at least I won't have this burden of a mortgage to pay. But I'm able to do it because I moved out to Wales, so I can so I can be financially free, and I plan things that way. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope you get some inspiration from this video. Thank you. Bye bye.